Welcome to this Sunlight video. We're going to walk you through the steps needed to deploy Sunlight in AWS. First, log into your AWS account. Once you're in the AWS Management Console, go to the AWS Marketplace Subscriptions. Now click Manage Subscriptions. Now click Discover Products and search for Sunlight. Choose the Sunlight SIM. Click Continue to subscribe and accept the terms. Once that subscription is active, go back and do the same for Sunlight Next Visor. Now, if you go back to the AWS Marketplace and click Manage Subscriptions, you'll see after a couple of seconds that Sunlight SIM and Sunlight Next Visor are both subscribed. The next step is to create a role. So go to Services, type Roles, and then select IAM. Now click on Roles and create a role. Now choose AWS Service EC2 and Next, and then choose Create Policy. Click on the JSON tab. Now we're going to go to the Sunlight documentation site and grab the policy. You can see the URL on the screen here. So select the policy, go back to the JSON tab and paste in the policy. Now click Review. Now we've got to give the policy a name, so we're going to call it Sunlight IAM Policy and click Create Policy. Now the policy has been created, we can go back to the Create Role tab. So let's grab that new policy we just created to attach to our new role. So it's Sunlight IAM Policy. And now we add a tag, the key name and the value Sunlight IAM role. And then we click Next, Review, give the role a name. So we're going to call this Sunlight IAM role and click Create Role. So let's take a quick look at our Sunlight IAM role. You can see that here's our role. It has a tag and it has our policy attached to it. If I look at the JSON, you can see the JSON we pasted in. So now we go back to EC2, go to the EC2 dashboard, click Launch Instance, which takes us to the Marketplace, type Sunlight and choose the Sunlight Infrastructure Manager dashboard. Click Continue. The correct instance type will already be selected, so click Configure Instance Details, and all you need to do is now select the IAM role that we set up previously, then click Review and Launch. Now we hit Launch. Now we need to create a key pair, so click Create a New Key Pair and give the key pair a name. In this case, we're going to call it Sunlight SIM Key. And then download the key pair, and once that's downloaded, you can launch the instance. And off it goes. So now we can view the instances, and you'll see the Sunlight instance is pending as it's initializing. While we're waiting for the instance to initialize, we'll want to record the instance ID and public IP address highlighted here in yellow. Once that instance is running, you want to put that public IP address into a web browser window. And then you can sign in using the username Sunlight, and the password is the instance ID. You'll now be asked to change the credentials, so enter a new username and password. And then sign in with those new credentials. You're now logged into the Sunlight Infrastructure Manager. So the first thing to do is to select the region that you want to deploy your new Sunlight cluster into. Then choose Create New Cluster. Now give the cluster a name and select the number of nodes that you'd like in the cluster. Select the instance type. This is the .metal type. In this case I have 3.metal, and which availability zone you want each of those nodes to appear in, and press Submit. Sunlight will now go off and start to initialize that cluster. Now you can see the Sunlight cluster is online. We have a link to the Sunlight dashboard, and we have a link to show us details of the cluster. So if you click on that, you'll see 2 nodes that we deployed, and you'll see that there are no virtual machines running on either of the nodes. So what we're going to do is go and have a look at the Sunlight dashboard. So we log in with the default username, which is administrator, and the default password is NextVisor. You should of course change these immediately. So we log in, and here we are in the Sunlight dashboard. From here we can manage the complete VM lifecycle on this new cluster. That concludes our quick guide to deploying Sunlight in AWS. We hope you enjoy using Sunlight.